Okay. All right. So we are recording. Thank you guys for joining us for call 2. We are going to be discussing chapters 1 through 3 tonight. And we're really excited about the breakout room session that we have planned for you guys tonight. And if you didn't get a chance to read it all, you'll still be able to participate. That's our goal for every single one of these calls, that even if you didn't get the material read, that you can still participate and take something away from this call to apply to what you're going to do this coming week. So to recap, we read chapters 1 through 3. And chapter 1 was all about the idea of going small. And then chapter 2, which we talked about a little bit in the group, it was all about how success, I always mess this up, success is sequential. I make a lot of weird noises when I try to say that sentence fast. Success is sequential, and it doesn't happen all like bam, one time you've done all this work and then here it all is. It little by little by little, and it all adds up. And then chapter 3 really explained how this has shown up for so many people in so many different areas, and was a lot of examples of people who we look up to and respect, and their businesses and things that we buy. And it all started with one thing where they started going small, and then success happened little by little by little and added up to something big for them. So we are going to go ahead and start with some questions for you guys. So if you have your pens or pencils and some paper, we're going to go ahead and get started with some journaling and then go into our breakout rooms. Yes?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So Mark's going to take over from here.
All right, so the first question, and we're going to give you like a minute to answer each of these. So it's not important that you write the question down, just that you get the answer. First one is an easy one. What is one win you had this week, anywhere in any area of your life? A win you had this week. All right, question number 2 is, what is a goal that you have accomplished? Any goal in any area of your life, in any time frame, what's a goal in your life that you've accomplished? You identified it at one point in time, and then you went after it and you actually accomplished that goal. Take a minute and write that one down.
Why is it funny? Oh.
And when you identify that, take a moment and think about why was that? Why were you able to achieve that goal? What did you do? Okay, and the last question is, this is kind of a long one. So what is a goal that was really important to you, but you gave up on because you weren't seeing the results? So what's a goal that was important to you, either recently or a long time ago, that you gave up on because you were not seeing the results? And why was that? Why were you not seeing results?
So Mark, it's why were you not seeing results, not why did you give up?
Correct. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to break you up into breakup rooms so that way you guys can have a conversation, not break out rooms. My apologies.
No breaking out.
So what we want you to do is we want you to introduce, same thing we did last week. You're going to introduce yourself. Hey, my name is Mark. And you're going to answer the second question. The second question was, what's a goal you've accomplished and what or why was that? What made you able to accomplish it? Here's the key. You have 2 minutes to give an answer. Okay, so you're going to have 6 minutes in the group. There's going to be 3 people in the group. Shortest hair is going to go first. Longest hair is going to go first. Shortest hair this time is the scribe. So the scribe, here's your job. You are going to write down common themes that you hear. Brevity is the key. Okay, brevity is the key. So if Jenny's sharing, I'm going to just pay attention to what she says. Great. And I'm going to kind of write a summary of what she said. And then when I summarize, I want to make sure I capture what she said. So she might say, well, because I did da da da. I said, so what I'm hearing you say is this. Boom, boom, boom. Is that correct? Yes. We write it down. And then as you hear everyone go, you're going to record the synopsis of what everyone's saying and how they were able to accomplish their goals. Make sense? Give me a thumbs up if we're good on that. All right. So you know who's going first. What did I say?
The longest hair goes first.
Longest hair goes first. Short hair, you're the scribe. So we're going to send you to breakout rooms. Remember, if you're done early and you want to come back to the main room, that's totally fine. Hit leave breakout room, not leave meeting. Okay, it's important. And your blue buttons are going to show up right now. You have 6 minutes. Go and be merry. What we want to do is we want to have the scribe just kind of tell us what did you as a group identify were kind of the common themes. So we'll start with that group one. Ivan, I don't know who was the group who was the scribe in your group. Were you the shortest hair? I'm assuming that you were.
Oh, hold on here.
So Carolyn actually filled in for us.
Okay. Awesome.
Yes.
I was being late. My fault.
Awesome. So what did you guys hear? What were some common themes that you heard that allowed you all to accomplish a goal in your group?
Okay, so I guess the basic theme would be good planning and outlining of what you want to accomplish, and then focusing on one thing at a time, and then having a heart for it, for what you're doing. And so I guess focus, having a heart, and planning was pretty much.
Awesome. Did anybody else have some of those recurring themes show up in their groups? Okay, awesome. Nicole, in your group, who was a scribe? It was you, right? Awesome. Will you unmute yourself and kind of tell us what were the synopsis of your group?
Yes. Synopsis of my group was we accomplished our goals by cutting out background noise and focusing on one thing, kind of making that our identity, and there wasn't anything else we had to do but succeed at our one main goal.
Awesome. Thank you. Donnie and Amanda, in your group, was Donnie is Amanda eating ice cream? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's delicious too. So
Busted. Totally fine.
Basically, no matter what you do in life, don't be normal. So Allison, she, after so long went back to school. Jenna reached out and became a coach and tried to do something out of the ordinary. For me, it was being the first person to get a college degree. So it's just don't be normal. Like go outside of your boundaries and reach for success. That was our theme.
Love it.
Very cool.
Awesome. And then group 4, Dave, what did you guys come up with? Kelly, you might be muted. Yep.
Here we go.
That was a practice round, Dave.
Well, what we found was having doubts and fears leading up to it. Once you finally decided to cut those doubts and fears off and make the decision to go through it, sometimes we would think a little bit outside the box. Sometimes we would just have hyper focus, whatever the case may be. But the key for us was getting over that hump of fear of Angel had a 5-year delay in getting her degree. I chose not to promote right away in the fire department. And Kelly had reached for some jobs that she just wasn't sure that she was qualified for. All of those were fears that once we set up our mind to go do them, failing was not an option.
Yeah, love it. Awesome. The reason that we wanted to do this is just because when we're hearing, as you boiled it down, guys, right, is focus showed up in every single group. Narrowing our focus to the one thing that we want to go after, right? Which shouldn't come as a surprise. It's the freaking title of the book. And it's almost a forced response to try to get you guys to understand that chapter 3, the reason that chapter 3, that as Jenny and I were discussing, chapter 3 didn't add a lot more content, a lot more new material. It was more proof in the pudding. Did you guys see that as you were reading? It was like, hey, Bill Gates did this and so on and so forth did this. And the reason that we wanted to do this activity is because we wanted you all to see in your own lives that what Gary showed in chapter 3 is true for you as well. In the areas of your life where you've succeeded, where you've gone after a goal, what you did, whether you knew it or not, was you narrowed your focus down, you eliminated the distractions, you got past the fear, and you just took action over and over and over again on that thing until it actually showed up. So the question that we have to ask ourselves then is, why, if we go to that third question that we asked you to write about, why don't we succeed? What is the thing that gets us in the way? And this is what Gary talks about in the book. But what I want you to think about, though, is this very, very simple question. When we go back to the domino progression, remember that line that started out and it went geometrically up towards the moon? Did everybody see that in the book? When Gary was writing the book, most of us focus on the dominoes. We all focus on, hey, the dominoes are pretty cool because by the 18th, it's the Leaning Tower of Pisa. By the 23rd, it's the size of the Eiffel Tower. But when we try to then do a goal-setting activity, what do most of us do? When we set a goal, what do we do? Where do we start? If you had to guess, put it in the chat box. What number would you say? Number 1, which is the 2-inch domino. Number 18, which is the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Number 23, which is the size of the Eiffel Tower. What would you say? Put it in the chat box.
Where do we start? Like, what
do we usually set our target on? What number domino? 23, Donnie says. 15, Angel says.
57.
Yeah, 57 sometimes, right? We go, and the point is, guys, we go way too big. Way too big. So one of the things that I'm lucky enough to be able to do is to do what's called a lead domino call. And a lead domino call is the full intention is for us as practice leaders inside of the community to help people identify what is the lead domino in the key area of life that they want to set a goal. And every time we start off, and every time someone gets to that, what they think is their 2-inch domino, and really it's the 18th domino. And the reason that we do that is we say in our minds, theoretically, is we're going, well, that domino is already starting to fall over. That tower's already starting to fall. If I just run and push on it hard enough, eventually it'll fall. And then what does Gary say? We set our goals too high. We make things too complicated. We get exhausted. We don't hit the results, and then we quit. And then life gets small. And he says it's the wrong area for us to get small in life. So Jenny asked me to share with you what were some of the lead dominoes that we've come up with as we've done hundreds of these calls at this point in time. And there's 2 that I'll give you. Number 1 is there's a gentleman that I've worked with pretty closely, and his lead domino was his physical health. And so he was like, my goal in my physical health is I would be a what's it called, the high school cross country. You want to be a cross country coach. And he's like, so in order to do that, I feel like I need to be a runner myself. So I'm going to go run 5 miles a day. And I asked him, I said, how many miles are you running a day right now? None. I'm like, okay, so do you think that running 5 miles a day is a 2-inch domino that with the flick of a finger would fall over? Or is it bigger? It's probably too big. Exactly. And as we work backwards, what he found was that if he would just set his running shoes by the side of his bed, that's all he had to do. If he would do that before he went to sleep, then in the morning he would wake up and he would put his shoes on. And then once his shoes were on, guess what? He'd go outside for a walk. And it didn't matter if he walked or he ran, guys. The key was he was starting to take that little small exercise, that small activity, that just by setting his shoes by his bed, the next day it knocked down the next domino, which knocked down the next domino, and so on and so forth. Do you see how that works? Most of us say, I want to get in better shape. I'm going to go work out 5 days a week. I'm going to go work out 10 hours a day, whatever it may be, and it's too big. Another one is like for another guy is a practice leader in our community. If you're in the One Thing community, his name is Ruben, and his goal was a spiritual goal. And he's got a 2-story house. His bedroom's upstairs. And he wanted to spend 30 minutes in the Bible every day before he started his day. And what he found was that was too big. That was an 18th domino. You would think reading 1 verse a day would be simple enough. It was too big for him. So what he set the measure of success, if he went further back, he said, if I will just go downstairs, that is my lead domino. It doesn't matter if I walk downstairs and I fall asleep on the couch. It doesn't matter if I walk downstairs and I read the whole Bible. If I would just go downstairs, that is a small enough domino that I can knock over every single day that makes showing up in my Bible time, in my quiet time, easier. And that then allows me to read 1 or 5 or 20 minutes worth of scripture. Do you see the difference between an 18th domino, which is run a lot, work out a bunch, do the big, what you think is a realistic goal, versus something that is so small, guys, that with the flick of a finger, it falls over. And then it allows everything else to become easier or unnecessary. Does that make sense? You have a crystal clear idea of what a lead domino is? How many of you guys have an area that you would like to identify your lead domino in? Don't everybody raise their hand at once. If it's something that you would like to do, what we're going to do is this Thursday and the next Thursday, because we want to give you guys plenty of time for notice. This Thursday and next Thursday, we're going to do an extra Zoom call for us together as a group, as a book club, to do a lead domino exercise. So you can pick any area of your life, and then we'll be able to help you come all the way back to that 2-inch domino that with the flick of a finger will fall and makes everything else in your life easier and necessary, so that way you can hit the goals that are important to you. Does that sound good? Totally free. It's this Thursday. It's either going to be at 8 or it's going to be at 8:30. The time is up to you. So we're going to put that in the Facebook group, and then you're going to go in and let us know what time works best. We'll do 8 o'clock one week. We'll do 8:30 the following week, or whatever, flip-flop. So let's go back to your third question. Angel, I see your question. I'll get to you in 1 second. The third question that I asked you, an area of your life that was important to you that you gave up on because you weren't seeing results. Take a moment, go talk to your past self, and give them one piece of advice in 5 words or less that would allow them to hit that goal. So if you could go back in time to the person that quit on the goal and give them one piece of advice in 5 words or less, what would that be? Put it in the chat box. Put your advice in the chat box to your former self. Love that, Allison. You are worth it. Put on your shoes. 5 words or less.
Oh, sorry, I think you cheated.
Jenny did 6. No get rich quick possible. Expand your possibilities of options. Wasn't a specific measurable goal. You can't do it all. Love that. Take the risk. Go smaller. Keep going. Don't start so big. Yeah, amen, brother. Awesome. Awesome. Guys, I again, it's very hard to read the label inside of the box. What I mean by it, when you're in the middle of life and life is happening and you're setting a goal, it's very difficult to know what is that 2-inch domino. Is what you've set too big? And I want to encourage you that wherever you are, as you read this book and you start to apply the principles that are in there, give yourself the grace to understand that failing is winning. Most of us think that failure looks like this. That winning looks like this. We start and it's a direct line to the finish, to the goal. That's what most of us think. And what is true is that failure looks like this. I mean, success looks like this. This is what success actually looks like. It's taking a step, going small, hitting a wall, getting back up, and then moving forward, learning from the mistake. Gary Keller says, and this is something to write down, fail fast, fail forward, fail often. If you're really into alliteration, fail fast, fail forward, fail frequently. Gary says fail often. Fail fast, fail forward, fail often. Learn from your failures. Go and take action. Go really small. Knock down the lead domino. Trust the dominoes will fall. All right, guys, was this worth your time tonight? Is this good? Helpful? Did we help bring the content home? Because we didn't want to just sit here and go, so what'd you like that you read? Was it great? Yeah. We wanted to actually give you some good stuff to be able to take and use. Is that helpful?
So this coming week, we're going to be reading chapters 4 through 6. And then,
Don't miss next week because it's a lot of fun. Next week will be a lot of fun.
yeah, actually, yes, we did talk about the activities again.
Wait, you
So
think I was lying?
no, I didn't know. So chapters 4 through 6 this week, and then we'll have a couple of posts that go up in the group throughout the week to kind of share what you're learning, ahas, that sort of thing, ask questions in there, and then let us know 8 or 8:30 which time works best for you, and it's going to be this Thursday and next Thursday to work through that lead domino exercise. So before we head out, does anybody have any questions or?
Angel had a question earlier, and that was, if you're currently in the 66-day challenge, should we not do a lead domino exercise with the thought that we would not be focusing on one thing? Totally up to you. Totally up to you, Angel. If you want to do a lead domino exercise, totally fine. If you want to stay with what you got, roll with it. Say the third again: fail forward, fail often, fail fast. Not in that order. Helpful that seeing a failure that I had actually could have been successful. I expanded on what success could have looked like. Love that. So
Stacey, the Thursday night call will probably be longer than 30 minutes because we want people to really have time to work through and get to their lead domino. And we don't want anybody to feel rushed with that. So that one may go a little bit longer.
I would say 45 minutes. 45 minutes for that one's probably moving a little quickly. So
Yeah.
Awesome. If you guys have questions or there was things that you read this week that were super cool, go drop them in the Facebook group. We'd love to hear from you. If you want to hang out for about 2 minutes, we have about 2 more minutes, but otherwise, we'll see you guys next week. Appreciate you lots. Could you say the time for Thursday again?
8 or 8:30.
Yeah, either 8 or 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard
Eastern
Time.
time. Had a whole issue with that today.
Jenny-
Time
Jenny
zones
did not.
blowing my mind.
You're welcome, Ivan. Our pleasure, buddy. See y'all later.
Thanks, guys.
You're
Bye.
welcome. Thank you.
Bye.